Welcome back, folks. It's been a little bit of time since we've had this time together reviewing some snatch technique today from the one and only Roddy Gonzalez. So this lift actually came from a PR snatch session from Roddy. He said, yo, throw this one up on the YouTube so you can talk about why spoiler alert, if you don't want the spoiler, go ahead and fast forward 10 seconds ahead in this video. Start a 10-second timer, Jake. Put it on the screen. Ready? Start it. We can talk about other random stuff during this 10 seconds. Talk about what's the best candy out there. What is the best candy out there? For me, it's probably a Mounds bar. All right, 10 seconds is up. We're going to talk about why Roddy ended up missing this PR snatch attempt right here. So lifts leading up to this, Roddy hit 91 for a PR match, and then he hit 93 kilos for a new PR, and then he made the jump to 95 kilos to extend the PR. So this actually ends up being a miss, and we're going to discuss why it was a miss. So as with all of our videos, we are just going to let this one run through full speed first, and then we'll kind of look at it frame by frame and see where it all went wrong. All right, roll the footage. Is that trademarked by the Buttery Bros? Probably not, right? Roll the footage. Dynamic start, good finish, and a miss there. So there are a lot of ways to depressingly miss a snatch. This is probably the second most depressing way to miss a snatch. The most depressing way to miss a snatch is to fixate the bar, start standing up, make it above parallel, and then you lose shoulder tension and you lose the bar forward, you lose it back. That is the most depressing way. This is the second most because he lost it when he was in the hole with it overhead. He had this lift right here. This is basically a make. Our friend in the background agrees. All right, let's just take it frame by frame. So Roddy does use a dynamic start. He is a little bit more on the advanced side when it comes to weightlifting with a year plus of experience. So let's look here at this start position. Something that I have coached Roddy on quite a bit, and he still does it, but to a lesser degree, is number one, the neck. So remember that neck angle. We're going to fix that gaze straight ahead instead of craning the neck and shifting the balance back. Kind of gets you onto your heels or shifts that center of gravity back before you're ready. You can also see that his hips are probably a little bit low there. So if you look at that hip crease, it is probably nitpicking here below the knee. So he could set the hips maybe a ½ inch higher. And what you'll see as he breaks the ground, if we go frame by frame, is the hips kind of automatically fix themselves. They're like, pew, and then they go into a good start position as the bar breaks the ground. One other thing to look at in this start position is, are his shoulders in front of the bar? It's kind of a hard angle to see it, but it looks like they are, or they're at the bare minimum, they're covering up the bar. So a really good start position here from Roddy. Some small things to fix. Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's see what goes on as we come towards the knee. Very good. Watch his shins here. Shins do a really good job of moving back to clear room from the bar. And he's very active in his lats to keep that bar close. Not a lot of distance here between the bar and his shins. Looks really good. Shoulders stay over the bar. Back angle remains the same. Hips and shoulders rising at the same rate. Getting to the knee, this is a very, very good lift. Let's see what happens as we cross the knee. Back angle still good. As we approach the power position, Roddy, you're so fast. Can barely even go frame by frame here. As we approach the power position, Roddy uses his lats nicely to sweep the bar in. Let's see our contact point and power position here. One frame back. So power position here. I do not care about the elbows being bent because as he extends, he does not straighten them and rebend. Good. We don't care about early arm bend unless there is imagine this is at my hip, my elbow right here. If there's an early arm bend, we don't care. But if you extend and we see a straightening and then a rebend, that's going to slow you down with that high pull position. Roddy doesn't have that. So we go another frame forward here. This is probably our true power position here. We look at shoulders, elbows, knees, and toes. Shoulders over the bar. Good. Knees rebent. Ready to create vertical force. Very nice. Heels are up a tiny bit. This is something that Roddy is very tired of hearing me say. Heels are up a tiny bit. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. But if we keep those flat, we can generate a little bit more force into the ground. As we go to extend, give me another frame. Good. So here's our triple extension position. You'll notice that maybe a little bit of loss of arm tension and an active pull and shrug, which is why the bar moves out away from him. Implication of that being that sometimes we end up jumping forward, or the timing can get a little weird as the bar moves away from the body. So Roddy kind of has to wait for the bar to come back to him. I mean, this right here is a good fixation position, right? Look at where we are. The bar needs to move back a little bit, which is kind of what throws him off. And the reason why he missed is the bar kind of moved back behind him and he had to actively put it in the right place with his shoulders. But overall, I mean, pulling himself under, he's remaining active on the bar. Good. Fixates this thing basically right at parallel. Or this is Roddy. If you stop fucking around and you actually, actively pressed on this thing, you might be able to power 95 kilos. It's coming. It's coming soon, brother. But he does fixate this nicely. You can kind of see that the bar shifts back on him a little bit as he kind of puts it in the right position. I think what kills him here, or one of the reasons why he kind of loses balance with the bar, is if we look at how his feet moved. Look at the right foot lands nice and flat, but as soon as the left foot, the foot that's closest to you, the viewer, as soon as that left foot lands, you can kind of see he does get pulled forward a little bit and he's up on his heel, which is just going to create a little bit of imbalance. He's not going to feel as solid as he would if that full foot was on the ground. He kind of settles here. Right here, this is a make. Like, this is a made lift. He saved it. He was up on his toes, really, really far forward with it, but he lets it settle back, fixates himself. This is a lift that you're going to make 9 times out of 10. But sometimes when you feel uncomfortable in that bottom position, the weight feels heavy overhead, you try and stand up too fast. You don't let it settle. You lose kind of faith in your arms to maintain that tension and keep that bar fixated overhead. What can happen is you rush to stand this up. I think here he's trying to stand it up. He wants to stand up from right here. He's like, all right, I'm going to stand this thing up. He loses that mindfulness of his arm position. Just watch the arm that's closest to you. Watch that shoulder kind of roll forward as he goes to stand. Now he's trying to stand up from this position right here. So instead of just letting this settle right here and saying, all right, arm position, fixate, pull out on the bar, be strong overhead, flex up into the bar, let your T-spine hold it and just lock out those fucking arms and really push hard into the bar. He kind of loses that in the interest of trying to stand up faster, which it's a split second decision of your body to say, stand up, this is heavy. He loses that arm position and the bar comes forward on him. There's no way that you're saving this. Like, this is a good save here. He's in position. All he has to do is stand straight up. Once it starts to drift forward on him like this, there's no saving this. No amount of shoulder strength relative to whatever your 1RM is. I don't care if he can overhead squat 115, 120% of his best snatch or whatever this snatch is right here. He's not going to be able to save this just because when the bar starts moving forward, it's just going to keep going that way. So it's unfortunate to miss a weight like this when you have it here for things to then trend in this direction. But really, that was just an impossible lift to save. So when I look at this, what am I trying to fix here so that we don't get into this position where his arms are kind of the limiting factor, and his shoulders are giving out as he goes to stand up. We could do a better job in the preservation of energy on this lift if kept our heels down here, the bar would stay closer. We wouldn't have to actively pull that bar back into position like he's doing right here, but he sure as hell does it. He pulls it back into place. He lets it settle. Wait a little bit longer in the hole. Make sure that you have this thoroughly fixated overhead so that you're not running into an issue of standing up too early or standing up before you're ready. And that's going to prevent this shoulder from buckling and missing it forward. So moving forward for Roddy, I think those are the corrections that we do want to make. Yeah, let it out, Roddy. Got that in the future. So those are kind of the big points of correction that I gave Roddy moving forward. I have no doubt that after this next training cycle that we are going through, addressing that overhead strength, using some complexes that are going to cue him to keep the bar closer through extension, I have all the faith in the world that we're going to not only hit 95, but we'll probably hit something closer to 100. Hashtag Roddy Hunnit Keys. That is going to be the end of this technique review video. Everyone who wants to see Roddy make 95 in the coming weeks, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you do want to get your own video looked at, you want your own technique review, you can find me on Instagram at @_Squatfather, or you can send your videos directly to @GiftedPerformance. I look forward to watching your videos. I look forward to making fun of you. That's a big part of this process. And I look forward to seeing you use the technique reviews and critiques that I give you to hit PRs in the future. Until then, till that moment arrives, you know what to do. Stay gifted. See ya.